Well, it is 1 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. First of all, I'd like to thank you for joining today's Healthy Selfishness session, and welcome you to our fifth and our final session. We have been doing Healthy Selfishness sessions since April the 9th. And so if you have been with us during our time, Diane and I thank you for spending some time with us each Thursday afternoon. I'm not sure what next week will bring in terms of what we'll do at 1 o'clock. I'm sure we'll find something to do. So today's session, I'm really excited about. As you can tell, I am representing NC State. I have two alum in my family, my husband and my daughter. So when Diane and I were brainstorming about bringing some people in to talk to us, she talked about Jennifer Patrick Swift. Jennifer is the head coach at NC State University, and she is in her second year. And today she's going to talk to us about creating a home run mindset. I had the opportunity to meet Jennifer in a Google Meet about maybe 3 weeks ago. And I think you're in for a real treat. I enjoyed hearing from her. She's real. And I think that hopefully when you leave today's session, you'll be able to take away some information and some nuggets of growth mindset that you can maybe start to establish in your classroom as we begin, hopefully back in the fall. I'm going to turn this over to Diane. So she can share more about Jennifer. So Diane, it is all yours.
Thank y'all for being here today. We appreciate it. So I know Jen's probably squirming in her seat right now. She's probably like, oh my God, what is she gonna say? So Jen and I went to college together. We played softball together for 4 years. Jen was our lefty first baseman. I think she usually batted like number 3, right at number 5, right in that cleanup kind of pocket. And even in college, she swung for the fences. So it would be only fitting that she bring a home run mindset kind of with her in her coaching career that has landed her as head coach at NC State the last 2 years. Jen has 3 little girls, all under the age of 8. So she is super busy all year round, but especially right now with the spring season at NC State being on hold. So she's at home doing what we're doing and trying to juggle work and homeschooling and that kind of thing. But she is a wife, a mother, a daughter, and a sister and a friend. And I am really excited that she's here with us today. I've got a little blast from the past surprise for her before she starts her presentation. So I ran up to my attic real quick. I was like, I need some pictures, right? So we all talk about how we're so glad that like Facebook wasn't a thing back when we were in college, which was over 15 years ago for me. But so I ran upstairs and I found some pictures to reminisce a little bit. These are the only so these are some of the ones that I could find. And so up in your top left, this was us kind of our freshman year. So like I said, Jen was the lefty first baseman. I was an outfielder and a pitch runner. And then this is top right. I think this is another picture from our freshman sophomore year. Bottom right, that's after graduation. But I thought it would be cool for y'all to kind of see and for her to see, you know, how long we've been friends. And so I'm really glad she's here with us, and I'm excited to hear what she has to say. So Jen, when you're ready, if you want to show your screen.
All right. Thank you for that. Yes, good work on being cute and safe with the pictures. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Diane, how are we looking?
Okay, you're gonna go to play from start.
Yeah, I'm there now. So
Okay.
am
All right.
am I good?
Yeah, we can see it. Do you have the right internet on?
Yeah. Is it an issue?
Your voice isn't, but your face is.
All right. Let me get another one.
Okay. I think you're good now.
All right. Look good?
Yeah, good to go.
Okay, so let me get here and then how we doing?
Doing good.
All right. Well, first off, thank you for that awesome introduction, and thank you, Diane, for allowing me to be here to talk to y'all today. And when Diane had messaged me and asked me to do it, I didn't even think twice about it. I just started thinking, what can I do and how can I give back? And teaching is something that's close to my heart. My brother, he is 48 and he's been a middle school English teacher his career, and my niece just finished her first semester, or her first year at college. She's going to be an elementary education teacher. And then while I'm a coach, I know that I do way more teaching than I do coaching. And I think that good coaches would say that. I do very little coaching because in the game, I just trust that what we and our staff have taught will matriculate into the games. But, I will have to say, though, if any of you, if your favorite color is blue or purple, I think Diane will have another link for you. If it's not red, you know what I'm saying? But no, I'm just kidding. But again, super excited to be here to represent NC State softball, and our home run mindset. So I'm not going to get into the X's and O's of softball. I don't want to bore you with that today. I'm going to run through my presentation, and if you have questions, feel free to put them on the chat. When we're done, we can address the questions, and I'll come back on so that I can see everybody on the screen. And any questions you can throw at me, we can do a Q&A. But ultimately, I want to make sure that there's some things that you can get out of this today. And so that's go ahead and get started. So the home run mindset. So just threw a picture up there. That's myself, my husband, Patrick, and our 3 little girls. Patrick is also my assistant at NC State on the softball team. My little girls are Lainey, she is 8 and in 2nd grade. Brindley in the middle, she is 6 in kindergarten. And Charliana, she's 4 and she's in preschool. So people ask me all the time, how many kids do I have? And I say I got 3 at home and I have 20 at work. And as you see through this presentation, that's really one of the biggest things that I want to get across today is about the relationships. And so that's really kind of in the background of everything today. If you want to talk about what it is to work with your spouse, that's another presentation for another day, right? So, but yeah, I wanted to give you a little bit about who we are. A little background about me. I was born and raised in Western Pennsylvania. The town was called Spangler, population of about 1,300. I was not an athlete. If you put me on any court or field other than a softball field, you won't even believe today that I'm a Division I head coach. So I had to work really hard just to be good, at being a softball player. And in fact, I actually didn't get recruited. Now, it wasn't as big as it was now back then, but I actually had to hire a recruiting service to get my name out there. And luckily found a home with Coach Simpson at Methodist College in Fayetteville. Fayetteville University now was Fayetteville College when I went there. And loved every minute of it, and wouldn't be where I am now had I not gone there and first had him as one of my mentors. The picture on the bottom, that's my dad on the left, and my brother, who I said is the teacher, on the right. Everything I learned about softball and a lot of what I learned about life growing up came from these two. And it was only fitting that when I won my first championship as a head coach that they were there. And I wouldn't have been able to do it if it wasn't for them. And again, on the right, it's just me proving that if you're going to take a picture in jean shorts with a bat, that you're probably not looking like the most all-star athlete. So I think I saw that picture on my dad's desk, and it summed up what I'm saying when I said I wasn't a natural athlete wearing the jean shorts. So education on the left, I got my bachelor's in biology and zoology. I have my master's in sports management with an emphasis and concentration in coaching theory. And I started my doctorate, and then I had 2 kids in 18 months. So I only got about halfway through that with a PhD in psychology and an emphasis on performance psychology. So that is my goal in the near future to finish that up. And yeah, so that's kind of my education. And then coaching timeline, starting at the bottom on the left. I think it's important just, again, to show that when you have goals and when you have dreams and wants and desires, that the only person in your way is you. And again, I started with a recruiting service. I paid for somebody to go and find me a home to play softball, but I knew I wanted to do it. So that's what I did, and that's where I started. I started as an assistant at a Division III school in Pennsylvania. After a year and a half, was a head coach. You can kind of look at that. Chowan University, again in North Carolina, York College in Pennsylvania, Millersville, that's in Pennsylvania, Seton Hill in Pennsylvania, St. Francis in Pennsylvania, and then now I'm in my second year at NC State. So the home run mindset, it's important, I think, because we are in a unique time, and I think this unique time serves a lot of us in the teaching world, the coaching world, the relationship world, to sit back and kind of evaluate some things. And, you might be thinking, hey, I'm in the middle of this, I'm in the middle of this quarantine, I'm in the middle of the school year. When we introduced our home run mindset, we introduced it mid-season because I knew that there was something that I could bring now to our kids. We made, again, back to the mechanic side of the softball thing, but I didn't want to wait. And my mindset has always been, if there's something that I can do to help one of my players, I'm not going to wait, I'm going to do it now. And so again, a lot of this is talking in reference to the home run mindset and a physical skill of hitting home runs. But what I want you to do, and I kind of have this in there, what does that mean to you? So the concept that the home run mindset, it was 180 degrees different than what all the little girls that I was teaching had been taught and had grown up with. Most of them taught by their dads, some taught by their moms, their coaches. Most of them, if not all of them, were not taught to go up there and, hit the ball over the fence. So here I am as a college coach saying, I want you to do something, one, that you've never done, and 2, that goes against everything that you've ever been taught. And I need you to think about everything, approach from start to finish completely different. And again, they had done that for their whole life, 12, 15 plus years of playing ball. And once they saw what they were capable of, they wanted to get better. So again, from a field perspective, I'm putting them in situations where they're going to hit home runs. And some kids that have never done that, the feeling of doing it for the first time, it's addicting. They were like, oh, the rush that you get from it, wow, like I want to do this again. How can I get better? Once they saw what they were capable of doing, they wanted to get better. Again, continue to take this into your students and education. You want your class to be different, you have to be different. And like I said, quarantine right now, what we're going through is the perfect time for this. And again, we've all heard the quote that people believe came from Albert Einstein. The definition of insanity is repeating the same behaviors and expecting a different outcome. Again, if I all of a sudden want to start having championship after championship and make it to Oklahoma in the World Series in the top of my respective career, then I need to make sure that what I'm doing in the process is going towards that outcome. And, you know, you have to be different. You know, you can't settle. The one thing I would say about that is, you know, you can't be out there and trying to be, I don't know, let's say, I'm trying to think of, you know, a great coach out there, but you can't go out there and try to be who you're not. You know, you have to stay true to who you are, but at the same time, I challenge you to who you think in your mind does things great or is the best, to see what they do, but don't try to be them. Try and see what you can use with that information to make it yours. So what I wanted to do for you, when I did this presentation, a lot of it I took out, it was the skills of how to hit the home run, but I pulled some videos from it that I wanted you to see. When I was making a presentation to talk about how we hit home runs, this was in the fall, I thought, let me call in some of my girls without any heads up, any advance notice, any here's the question ahead of time. And I put my iPad on record and I asked them some questions. And so again, like, yes, they're talking about softball here, but again, keep thinking it's a mindset thing. And I want you, as there's 3 videos with 3 of my players, impromptu, like I said, and I want you to listen to what they say and some of the describing words. And I want you to look at their body language, look at their faces, look at when they answer the questions, how they light up, and then we'll talk about that. How has the home run mindset changed you as a player?
It changed me dramatically. I personally have become a tougher and better player all around. I dealt with it differently than I was when I was a slapper. I've always told coach that I was so excited when I hit ground balls and beat them out. But I was like, I'm a little girl, but like when I come up to bat, I don't look at myself as little. I know I can hit for power. I know how far I can hit the ball. And it just changed my whole career around. And it's just more fun for me, and I enjoy it way more.
Awesome. Why do you like hitting home runs?
I just love coming around third base and seeing my teammates there for me. And I think, like, as a senior now, or no matter what age you are, I think, like, when you have your teammates there and you see all of them smiling, cheering, like going wolf and back and forth, like, it just changes the whole game.
So a couple of things that she had mentioned there that stuck out for me. A transformation. Again, we're thinking about, I'm bringing a new mindset that they have never had before. They are not used to. And this is after just a year where we were able to get. So the transformation, considering herself, yes, she's a little girl, but with that mindset, when she's up at the plate, she doesn't feel little. You know, she knows that she can be bigger than she is by stature. Change direction of her career. So change her mindset. Things that she used to say that she was, she's now bigger than, she's better than, she has bigger goals, she has higher aspirations, and confidence in life. The confidence that exudes from her now when she steps in because of this new mindset has helped change her. And here's another one. How has the home run mindset changed you as a player?
So I think it's made me more competitive, like on the field and off. It's fun to, see stats like who has the most home runs and things, and just compete against each other and other teams as well. It's helped me defensively as well, knowing that I can like work towards something and achieve it offensively in the box and be able to like flip it and do the same thing on defense.
Why do you like hitting home runs?
I like it because that's like what I accomplished. It doesn't rely on any other part of the team. The other team, like, it's literally solely me. It gives you confidence. It shows that you can do something like that, and it's like everything's in my control.
So with her, makes her more competitive on and off the field. So right there, a mindset that we're talking about in our sport, which I tell our girls all the time, softball is not who you are. It's something that you do. Yes, it's a big part of their life, but she now takes that confidence off the field with her and into all aspects of life. And fun to see her stats compete against others. Now, again, this is something where, you know, when I'm thinking into the teaching world, some people thrive by this in competition, and other people don't. But at the same time, it's about trying to find within what you're doing what drives each person. And this is what drives her, being successful to her peers and those that she plays against. And again, gives her confidence, and everything is in her control. And the last one.
What does home run mindset mean to you?
I think it means going into the box and swinging at anything that I can hit the ball out on. Like, no balls, strikes, it doesn't matter. If I can take a good swing on it and hit the ball out, then that's what that means to me.
How has the home run mindset changed you as a player?
Wow. Yeah, it changed me completely. I mean, I only hit 2 home runs in my career before coming here and like doing the swing and learning the home run mindset. And I hit 16 last year, and I know I'm only going to hit more this year. So I think it's just changed my whole approach in the box and like changed how I thought about swinging in the box instead of like looking for just strikes over the plate, like pitches that I could hit for like base hits. I'm having better bat angle and making sure that I'm swinging at pitches that every pitch that I can hit.
Why do you like hitting home runs?
It's fun. I mean, I like seeing my teammates, like when I'm coming home around the bases, and like, it just makes me feel good. I just get really excited, and it's nice to like hear the crowd get excited. And then, I mean, we get to score a run off one hit. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
So looking at her, changed the whole approach and how she thought. Again, these are kids that have done it one way their whole life. And now this mindset, the buy-in, it's like they can't imagine it before and doing it any other way. That feeling, like, you know, as adults, as kids, it doesn't matter, as human beings, when something makes you feel good, that's huge. And again, one swing. So whether that's one grade on a test or, you know, one swing of the bat, it's can happen, you know, and they themselves get excited, the team, the crowd, you know, it's that feeling that you get from being successful. So again, some recap of some things, the home run mindset. And again, what does home run mean to you? Insert that kind of in there as that mindset. Gives the kids empowerment, changes in their lifestyle, more confidence in everything that they do, where things that they might not have had confidence in before. Kids in society today, I mean, you just think about it, there's so much negativity, so much judgment. Look at social media. It's like kids are hanging on whether or not somebody is going to click a button and like their things. And if they don't, then, you know, that's everything just seems to be putting them behind the 8 ball and casting negativity. And so I think it's our job, you know, as teachers to be that one person, because everybody's different. Everybody comes from different backgrounds. And I think it's our job to get really individual with them and figure out what we can do, because we might be that one person. And this I say all the time, you know, you're never going to tell your kid, you know, if they have a big test to, you know, go hit a single. You know, you're always going to say, go hit a home run, go swing for the fence, you know. Don't shoot for average, and don't be okay with average. Do your best, try and hit it out of the park. And then a growth mindset. Again, you know, what are you doing? What aren't you doing? Self-reflection. What's it look like? What can I do better? You know, what feedback am I getting? And then we work backwards. So backward meaning the home run is the outcome. And so it's how do we get there? Yes, there's a lot of A plus B plus C and on the way down, but we start with the end goal. This is who we are. This is who we want to be. This is our mindset. And then you put them in situations to feel it, to be successful. And we do it every day. And like I said, we train and talk about it, but you've got to have the process. So there has to be, whatever your home run is or whatever your mindset is, you have to have processes that are going to reinforce and lead up to that outcome. So again, this is just example. Practice plan just goes straight to the yellow. So even in visuals, they're seeing 4 rounds of home runs. And, you know, it's St. Francis, the school we were at before this, and NC State. They're seeing it. We're living it. It's there. We're talking about it every single day. And then different things, like I'll send texts to our players, you know, before big tests, before finals, before job interviews, during challenging life events and hardships. One of our players is from 8 miles outside of the Bronx, and she at one point had 6 family members in the hospital with COVID-19, and unfortunately 2 had passed away. And this was something that I would remind her of and send, and it was actually one of the girls on the video, the first one that spoke, and she said how much it helped her, and just that reminder that she can be strong, she can get through it, she can have the mindset. There's ups and downs, but you know, it's that big thing. Like, you can believe in yourself and know that you can be big, you know? So a little bit shifting away from softball, the last couple. If you want to have home runs, again, what does that mean to you? In the classroom, you have to have the home run mindset culture first. It starts and ends with you. That's what it's about. You know, we can blame the situations and the backgrounds, and there's so many things outside of our control. But do your best to focus on the controllables and control the controllables, and try not to dwell in what you can't control. It starts and ends with you, because you can only do so much, but you can still do a lot. You know, and what does that mean for you? What is your home run? What do you want? You know, it's like I said before, you know, Kevin Keats isn't going to be Roy Williams, and Roy Williams isn't going to be Kevin Keats, but they can learn a lot from each other, and they can take what their style is and figure out what that means for them, and identify what is their home run, what is their ultimate goal, what is their foundation and their basis for what you want your classroom to be, or your field, or, you know, whatever that is. And again, relationships with the students. Your relationships with the students are why they want or don't want to do the work. And that's true for me. That's what I do. You know, if I've had players along the way, just like you've had students along the way that, you know, they don't want to do it. You know, they don't have the drive, or, you know, there's behavior issues. I mean, it's our jobs to figure out the why behind that and invest in them. And that's why I think right now is such an important time. I look at it as an opportunity to invest more in relationships, because we're able to do that more, but you have got to put the time in. And that's kind of what it comes back down to, those relationships. It's now, with where we are, it's a time, I think, for self-reflection and to potentially hit the reset button. You know, whether you're on Zoom calls or Google Meets, or how you're running your classrooms now, I would encourage you, just take a quick snapshot at some point during your Google Meet. And then when you're off the phone, look at the faces. You know, it's just like when someone comes in your classroom, you can tell if they're having a bad day. You can tell if something's wrong. You know, same thing on there. It's going to show you so much. And that's where the challenge becomes, what are you going to do about it? Where now you have the time that you can be more engaged. You can reach out to that student. you know, again, whatever within the guidelines and boundaries and rules that you guys do, that you have as far as all of that goes. But, you know, what does that engagement look like? If you have someone that's not, that's disengaged, are you reaching out to them? Or are you just saying, well, you know, there's this, and this I can't control, or this is just how they are, or they're just not into it. Again, it goes back with you. What can you do? You know, we can't necessarily save everybody. I hate to say that, but you sure as heck want to try. And you want to know when you lay your head in the pillow at night that you've done all you could. And again, like that's where I challenge you, just like I'm challenging myself. You know, when we do our team, what are my kids engaged? You know, are you hitting home runs? Are you getting those successes? For example, are my kids working out on their own? Are my kids still staying connected? Are your students doing their work? Are they not doing their work? Again, if they're not, kind of self-reflect and hit that reset button. Could you be doing something more or better? And then, like I said, are you reaching out to the disengaged students? There have been so many times where, again, it's not all about wins and losses, but a lot of how we're judged in my job is wins and losses. So whether it's wins and losses or home runs or whatever, when there were times I wasn't getting results I wanted, every single time I had to be the one to make the change. It was either something I wasn't doing, something I was doing that wasn't benefiting, or it came back to me. It starts at the top, and you have to be okay with that. And I know our personalities in general are very defensive, and you know, so that's where you've got to really be real and be honest, and say, can I be better at what I'm doing, or can I do a little bit more? So I want you to just take a second. This will be your only exercise to do. And if you have a piece of paper there, it doesn't have to be a clean sheet. It can be just a piece of paper. Grab a pen. And what I want you to do is think about, there was a time when you all decided that you wanted to be in education, whether you're a teacher, an administrator, you know, whatever you are, your specific title is, you knew when that was, your why moment. You know, when you were that little boy or that little girl and you decided education was your thing, I want you to think about that, and I want you to write it down. Take a solid minute or two and really kind of dig deep. What did it look like? What did it feel like? What did it sound like? Where were you? Take 2 minutes and think back about that, your why. Go ahead, Al. Start the clock. I'll give you another 30 seconds or so. And if you don't finish, feel free to add on to this after the call. All right, so we'll go ahead and go from there. I would encourage you, like I said, really think about that and rip that piece of paper off, keep it with you. Set it somewhere on your desk, have that as a reminder, or, put it on a note card and slip it in your drawer and, have something that you can pull out, because I think that no matter how much that we love what we're doing, there are ebbs and flows, and there are times where you need reminders. And I think sometimes you need to get raw and go to your truest self and remember your why. So, again, think about that, elaborate on it if you'd like to, but I challenge you, keep it as a reminder that you can always go back to. And then I saw this not that long ago, and it kind of goes back to the whole subject of what we're talking about here. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. But when the student is truly ready, the teacher disappears. It's our job to, again, create the relationship. So one, the student is engaged and wants to listen, wants to learn, and wants to be motivated. And then that's when you have a pandemic or something like this, you sit back, you can't be with them all the time, but you see the home run mindset come into play by what they're doing and how they're doing it, and the fact that they are doing it and they're continuing and they believe in what your culture and your mindset is. And then a player-coach relationship becomes effective when the player believes that they are working with the coach rather than for them. So again, that self-reflection, if you think about all of your students in your class, and you kind of go through them one by one, would you say that student is working with you or for you? Are they doing the things because you're telling them that you have to do this? Or are they doing it because, they want to do it and they want to learn and they have that good culture and that good environment that, the learning is ultimately their driving force, as opposed to, just checking the box that the work is done, or, just getting a certain letter grade, that they truly want to learn and they're truly engaged for the right reasons. And then this kind of sums up everything with the relationship. Again, I love quotes because they're short reminders, short aha moments. But I feel this is so true right now. You might be the only person invested in a student's education right now. I know just my own daughter, we go on Zoom calls. There's about 20, 22 in her class. And my heart breaks for the one little boy that I can tell his situation is not ideal. But he is there, he's attentive, he's excited. And I can tell you that he has to look forward to it, because he's sitting there in the lobby of his apartment building and doing his work. And he is so excited to be on with his friends and his teacher. And, I sit there and I think that might be the only time, twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays, that he has that. And again, that's just taking one situation, but you don't know. And I think, one, our job is to figure out if we are that one person. We've got to know that. But even if we're not, it needs to come from all sides and all phases. And, if you're that one person, it's that much more important to make sure that relationship and that you're reaching out during these times, because you might be the world to that one person, and you might be all that they have right now. And so I would challenge you to look at your students and figure that out. And from here on out, just plan to try and give a little bit more. And trust me, I know how much you're giving. It's amazing what you do. And just from being a homeschool mom for the past couple weeks for 3 little girls, and seeing how you prepare and interact, and thank you for all that you're doing. But again, it's that, yes, we're doing great, but can we be better? Can we do something more? Can we reach out to one more student? And so that's kind of what, I would challenge you in preparing for the future and your culture and getting back to school. And what do you want your home run to be? And what do you want if we go through, hopefully we never do again, but if we go through another situation similar to this, how can you leave your kids where they're doing more because they want to, because they're working with you as opposed to for you? And it's they get to instead of they have to. And that all starts with you. It starts with all of us. And so the final equation, I never liked math. Diane, this is for you. So your why that we talked about, plus the relationships you have with each of your students, plus your home run mindset. Again, what is your number one thing? What do you want, your class to be about? That one describing word. What is your home run? Gets you the home runs, gets you the outcomes. And so that's kind of what I have for you today. And what I'll do now is I will get out of presentation mode so that I can see everybody. And then I'll be able to answer questions or anyone that wants to chat. Diana, if you want to kind of moderate.
I don't remember you being this smart in college, but that was a really good presentation.
I just deep every now and then.
Thank you. I really enjoyed that. So I guess one question I have is at what point do you allow yourself for your unengaged players or your players that, like you said, it's hard to change a college player after they've been doing a certain thing for so long. I know you have players that are doubtful, and kind of the naysayers, just like we have in the classroom. I think about math and kids that have never been successful in math until they for so long. Like, how do you change their mind?
Well, I think it goes back to, that's where it's a little different for me because, where I'm at, we have scholarships and playing time. But I think for you guys, I think it's about truly trying to find what motivates each individual kid, specifically the ones that are disengaged. Because there is something out there, something they love, whether it's they do Pokemon cards, 23 hours a day, and that's what they want to do. So it's, what's your favorite thing? What are you into? What do you like to do? And so somehow it's like, okay, well, I'm using this time to invest in them, to find out a little bit more about those disengaged kids by having conversations that have nothing to do with math, trying to pick out some nuggets. And then maybe it's like, okay, well, all right, you love Pokemon. Let's try and how can I be creative and incorporate Pokemon with math? Or if somebody is not good at math and they just absolutely love science, how can I take science and put that into the math thing? And I think, again, it's challenging because the more disengaged kids are often tend to be the ones that are, they don't talk as much, they don't open up as much. There's that comfort feeling isn't there. And those are the hardest ones to crack per se. But those are the ones that I feel like you really need to invest your time because they're going to benefit the most. And I know, after talking to my brother about different things, who's the teacher, and about this conversation and the presentation today, he was talking about how, oftentimes him and teachers in general, they focus on the lower percentage, the kids at the bottom of the spectrum and the bottom of the class, because test scores are so important and so crucial, and everyone are judged with test scores, that you can oftentimes see the greatest jump in test scores from somebody that's disengaged to then engaged, because now it wasn't that they couldn't do the work, but now they're engaged. And so sometimes those at the top also are less challenged and don't get pushed as much too. So I think it's a fine line between, you know, the kind of the sandwich effect, the 80% in the middle, the 10 at the bottom, the 10 at the 20, or the 10 at the other end of the spectrum. But it's really about, this time is such, I think it's a blessing, like I said, for us to be able to learn from the engagements that we have with the one-on-one kids. And then when we get back into the classroom, figure out, okay, well, I can't get on a Zoom with them twice a week as individuals. So how can I get 5 minutes to get a relationship built with, you know, the disengaged student that I'm going to have 3 years from now? But I really think it starts from now, and just finding what motivates, what drives them, and what interests them.
Mm-hmm. I agree. If anybody else has any questions, y'all can unmute yourself and just ask. Anybody else? All right. Well, Jen, I think that's it. Can you see the chat?
Yes, I can see it.
Yeah, I think it was really, really good. And I think it was a good presentation to kind of go out with the bang. If you joined us late, this is our last healthy selfishness talk. So we don't know what next week will bring, or if we'll get into schools or classrooms or whatever. But we thank you for joining us today. Christy, do you have anything to add?
No, it was just excellent, and I'm excited, and I love beginning with the why, and I love the relationship piece, and so it was just great. Thank you so much. I appreciate your energy, and I appreciate the time that you took to put this presentation together. It was outstanding.
Yeah.
Thank you. And if there's anything, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I can give you my email address. It's jrpatrik@ncsu.edu. If there's anything I can do for any of you, obviously Diane has my contact information as well. But please don't hesitate to reach out. I love talking to people and meeting people. And I just, again, I can't thank you enough for all that you do for our students, for the youth. And it's just amazing. So thank you.
Thanks, Jen. Do you want to put your email address and your tag handles in the comments in the chat box?
Yes, I will do that. That's a good idea. All right, I'm doing that now. I went to my email twice, so.
It's all right. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us today. Y'all have a good weekend.
Go Pack!
We are the red and white from state, and we know we are the best.
I love it.
And we take all the rest. We'll sing the next line.
Nice.
Thank you.
Who is recording?
Yeah, I'm gonna stop it. There we go.
Okay.